Let me ask you a really good question. What was the best decision you ever made in your entire life? Just take a second, reflect. What was one of the best decisions you've ever made? If I ask myself that question, it would be perhaps quitting my safe job in finance and buy a one-way ticket to Thailand, even though I had no clue what was coming next. And I hope you can think of a decision. If not, pause this video and take a bit of time. But if you can think of a moment like I just did, the next question I would ask you, was that decision coming from your head or from your heart? From your intuition? See, often when I do this exercise at live events, retreats, not just often, 95% of people say, hey, it came from my heart. Today's episode is all about the intelligence of your heart, the wisdom of your intuition. I hope this video, this masterclass today about the power of intuition, about the power of faith, is leading you to a life where you operate more from your heart, less from your head. There's this very strong Tony Robbins quote, if you're in your head, you're dead. And I really know what he means. In our head, we can create problems that don't even exist in reality. Our heart usually doesn't do that. There is this clip, and that's our first guest speaker, Gabriele, who I met at a retreat in Bali. He said in this clip went viral all over the world. Millions and millions of views. In this clip, he talks about the fact that your heart has over 40,000 neurons. But you will hear from him in a second. You will hear today from 3 incredible speakers, best-selling authors, dear friends, amazing people. You loved the last masterclass we did, so today we are bringing back this format. Another brilliant decision that I made in my life was writing a book, and that book is coming to you guys. Your support has been incredible, and we really want to help serve people with this book, with this story. We know it saves lives, so it would mean the world to me if you could pre-order my brand new book. Maybe this is happening for you, not to you. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and many other places. You will find a link down below. Really important, if you pre-order, you get access to incredible bonuses like my guided meditations, visualization practices, and so much more. Last week, I did a coaching session for everybody who pre-ordered the book. I will continue to do it. All you need to do is pre-order the book, keep your confirmation number, and then upload it on our bonus page. You will find all the links down below, but it's an incredible opportunity for yourself to grow, for serving a bigger impact, a bigger movement. It would mean the world to me, and who knows, maybe I'll see you at one of our live events when we do our book tour. It would mean the world to me. Pre-order, maybe this is happening for you, not to you, right now, and then we'll start with the first guest. His name is Gabriele, one of my favorite people on social media. You will understand in a second why. The heart has neurons. Is that true? Do I remember that correctly?
Yes, the heart has over 40,000 neurons. And I actually, even when I started meditating, I started studying a lot about the heart. Especially, and I suggest everybody to do it. If you take a look at the Heart Math Institute, they have this just wonderful research and studies they do on the heart. And I think they're the first one that they created the term heart coherence. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Yeah.
And I started measuring my heart coherence, okay? And you can see that as long as you start feeling love or start feeling gratitude, you can really see in real time how your heart rhythm becomes very beautiful and harmonious, okay? And now what does it have to do with the brain is because the heart sends more signals to the brain than it receives. In fetal development, the brain starts to form even like way before the brain even begins to develop.
Yeah, that's crazy. That fact is crazy. The heart is first, then the brain.
Yeah, the heart is, and so like if the heart starts functioning in a harmonious manner and becomes coherent, which pretty much just means pay attention to your heart, feel love, feel gratitude, and stay in that feeling, okay? Your heart will become coherent, and when your heart becomes coherent, the heart sends the message to the brain, and the brain gets coherent too. So the brain and heart are functioning together, one heart, one mind, just functioning beautifully together. And so the decisions that you will make in your life will come more from your heart than to the brain, because the brain, if you think about it, is nothing but a record of the past. The brain just stores memories, traumas, what you should do, what you shouldn't, the program, right? Okay? And so the brain is always connected to the past, but the heart is connected to the moments. The moments when your heart says yes and the mind says no. Follow your heart.
It's different when you understand that, when you hear the words, listen to your heart.
Very, it's true. It has a mind of its own. It has its own nervous system. It's a brain.
I'm just gonna let that sink in. Because if I think about the best decisions of my life that led to the most beautiful moments, they usually came from my heart.
Yes.
But I could never explain why. I never thought about, that was just, if I'm being completely honest, I was just not aware that your heart has neurons. Mm-hmm. For me, it was this thing that pounds every day, subconsciously, gazillion times. But would you agree if I say your heart is kind of like the essence?
Yes.
And then your mind is a record of the past?
Yes.
Which is helpful sometimes.
Very.
Right?
The brain is amazing.
Like when I play paddle, it's really good that that it remembers how to...
Just learn when to use what.
Yeah. When we speak, it's really good that it's a record of the past because I memorize words. But then sometimes, in certain moments, it's good when you listen to that heart.
Mm-hmm. I mean, most people, the way they can make decisions, at the end of the day, it's always a battle between mind and heart. And so,
would you say mind or heart, or brain or heart, or brain mind?
In these moments, I'm using mind and brain as the same.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but of course they're not, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
But mind is a word that a lot of us use for brain as well. But technically, the brain and the heart. Okay. And most people, when they're undecided about things, I always say, just follow your heart. You said it. When you follow your heart, the best thing ever happened in your life.
Oh, but then the brain is like, no! No, don't!
Yes.
You idiot, don't you remember?
Yes, exactly. And it's so hard. I'm not saying it's easy. It's so hard. But
literally
do it
hard.
enough. Yes, it sounds also impossible sometimes, but you will see that the longer you trust your heart, and that's why meditation is also very important, you will be able to literally feel it, and you will feel it when something is right for you. And I always follow my heart, and that's what leads me to the best things in my life. Doesn't care if it doesn't make sense. Usually it doesn't. Usually it really doesn't make sense. Like even when I was in Los Angeles, before I came to Bali and started my content creation journey, 2 years ago, I don't know why I decided to move completely from Los Angeles, my home for over 10 years, and came to Bali and buy a camera. I didn't know, but that's what my heart, that's what it felt right. I never even came to Uluwatu before. I never visited it, and I just literally moved completely. I was like, I'm done. I'm going here, and I'm getting a camera. I felt it here. My mind was like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? This makes absolutely no sense. But I felt it. It's also the kind of like I always say, when you meditate for long enough, you really develop superpowers, and it's so true. And I felt, and I'm very happy I followed my heart, because I could have followed my brain.
Yeah, while you were talking, I was thinking about moments in my life that really defined and shaped my destiny and the blissful life that I get to live now. One of them being I had a safe job.
Mm-hmm.
I would have had a good career.
Mm-hmm.
My mind was saying stay here. My heart was saying go, run.
Yeah.
Okay, and I ran. I quit my job, sold everything I owned, and that decision was the foundation of everything that I'm doing right now. If I would have not made, and it was so hard. It was so hard. But then I saw it worked out once, and I'm like, let me trust it more often. It feels like I can really trust my heart, my intuition. Would you say it's the same? Would you say intuition is
the heart intelligent?
Heart
intelligence
is your intuition. I love that because I started listening, really, literally just for a time, blindly listening to that intuition, to that heart intelligence. There's this rule by Mel Robbins, genius. Are you familiar with her book? She wrote a book called 5 Second Rule. Very simple. Everybody can use it. And I read that book and I'm like, I'm just going to try. You have an idea. Mm-hmm. You have an intuition. Mm-hmm. Perhaps I could also say your heart is telling you something. You count 3, 2, 1, and you just do it. 3, 2, 1, you just do it. 3, 2, 1, you just do it.
So it's the 3 second rule or the 5 second rule?
Sorry, it's 5 second rule. She says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can't.
That's hilarious because I do it 3. I do it. I do it too.
It's funny.
Didn't know, but I do it 3.
Yeah, I do 3 as well because I'm like, 3 makes so much more sense than 5. I can't
5 is too much.
I can't count until 5. Like until 5, I already chickened out. Mm-hmm. So like 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, talk to that person. 1, 2, 3, post. Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3, share that idea. 1, 2, 3, send that message. And or 3 to 1, whatever you want to do. Yeah, it works both ways.
Yes.
But I practiced, and now it's like the most normal thing for me. I have an idea, boom, I do it. I don't even doubt it anymore. But I remember that it really started with that time. It just reminded me of that, and it might be powerful for people to hear because it didn't make sense. All the people around me were like, "What are you doing? You know, you was in such a privileged position. You worked so hard for this, and now you're giving it up. Mm-hmm. Are you out of your mind?" I was out of my mind.
You were in your heart.
In my heart. And I made a hard decision. Led me to it's literally saved my life.
Yeah.
Because another moment that I was thinking of was this moment when doctors told me, or told my partner at the time, this guy's going to die at the end of the week. My brain, or like the record of the past, would have been like, okay, well, you got to listen to what they're saying.
Yes.
My heart was like, honey, I'm not going to let the people down that love me. I'm going to give 110%, and I can make this work, even if I don't know how. It was hard. People always ask me, what made you survive? I'm like, my heart, my love.
Wow.
Literally the love for others. I think that's like, I mean, it's probably also the most beautiful emotion that you can feel, right?
I mean, I say it's the emotion of the emotions.
Yeah. It's like
the one ring. I don't know if you're familiar with Lord of the Rings.
No, I haven't watched it.
There's one ring that rules them all.
Yeah?
I joked, it's like the one emotion that rules them all.
It's love, it's gratitude.
I mean, it's unconditional love. I think it's the most thing that we can ever feel. Pure love.
Who do you have unconditional love for?
In my life? Like as a person?
Yeah.
I feel unconditional love not related to people. I feel that when I feel wholeness, I feel unconditional love when I surrender. And it's not something that that I truly feel it for a person, because there's different types of love. I'm talking about really when you surrender and it's like you become feeling pure unconditional love, and it's something that is very hard to describe.
Because one of my favorite questions or like one of my favorite meditations is to become familiar with the people who love me.
That's beautiful.
Unconditionally.
That's beautiful.
And I feel this very warm feeling in my chest and my heart, and Brings me always back to my essence. I have the feeling, like I think about my grandmother. I think about my,
definitely,
you know, that
definitely.
that just, I think better thoughts immediately if I
Yeah.
think about that.
But your body works better when you feel love. That's the thing. You feel fear, your body doesn't work. You feel love, you feel gratitude, you feel all of those elevated, beautiful emotions. Your body starts working right to literally the very cells on how they communicate, which means it's supposed to be a regular state of being, not stress, not fear, not those survival emotions. So we should all
Yeah.
fall in love with life.
Yeah. I hope all of those high performers, hustlers were listening. Your body actually functions better when you are
Yeah.
in this state of love.
Yeah, that's proven.
And gratitude. Do you have mind-blowing facts that will help us shift from, because one of the greatest challenges in the last decade of my life was shifting from the state of fear to a state of love, gratitude, homeostasis, whatever you mean, like snapping out of it. Used to take me hours, sometimes even days.
That's normal.
Now I'm down to, I think, hours at max. Sometimes it's minutes, sometimes it's even seconds. Because I snap like this. I tell people, and they start snapping around me when they catch me going back to this. But is there any practical tool, anything that could help us shifting from this fear state, this mind being stuck in our mind, back to heart?
Yeah, I would then recommend for everybody to practice how to generate heart coherence. That's really the secret.
How do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually very, very simple. So first, place your mind, place your attention to your heart.
Yeah.
Okay. If it helps, you can put a hand right here. Okay. And it's very, very easy. Like all you need to do is to just pay attention here and just breathe. Slow down your breath. Okay. So if you control your breath, you can control a lot of things. So slow down your breath and just start bringing to mind people that you love or things you're grateful for. If you're not grateful for anything, I always say make it up. Look the definition of gratitude on Google. That's what I did. I was not grateful for anything. How does it feel? And I was like, okay, now I'm an actor and I'm faking gratitude. And I would fake a smile. I don't care, because when you fake a smile, chemicals are released.
Yeah, at some yeah.
Yeah. So like I would just, okay, I'm just gonna try my best to feel gratitude. Okay. And so you feel gratitude, you breathe in, equally out, pay attention to your heart. Do it for 10 minutes. And do it for a little bit, okay, every day. And your heart will become, more and more and more coherent, which means your nervous system will become more coherent. Your brain will become more coherent. You will go from sympathetic to parasympathetic in your nervous system, from stress response to rest and repair. That's the thing. At the end of the day, change is actually very simple. It's not that hard, okay? It's like, it can be hard, but it's simple.
I hope you enjoyed our first speaker. I hope you take notes. I hope, very important to me, I hope that you implement when you have ideas. Act when the idea is hot. Don't wait for later, okay? So if you enjoyed Gabriele, obviously go check him out on social media and act on his incredible ideas, teachings, and lessons. The second guest is none other than John Strelecky, one of my favorite authors, sold more than 10 million copies, and I found the story fascinating of him writing his first book. The idea, and basically writing a bestseller with no experience whatsoever, just because he had the courage to follow his heart and his intuition. Without further ado, one of my favorite authors on planet Earth, John Strelecky.
Yeah, my first trip that was an overseas adventure consisted of two trips. One was going to Italy for the first time. That was my first time in Europe. And the second was going down to Costa Rica for a month. And these were after I had finished up. I was working full time and I was going to school at night. And at the same time, I was training to become a professional beach volleyball player. I was not just training, but I was actually playing and competing at the level. And so my entire life was scheduled every single second of every single day. If I wasn't training, I was studying. If I wasn't studying, I was working. The few spare moments I had, I was out with my friends doing other stuff that I enjoyed also. And so I had lined up a job that was going to start in August, and my coursework was going to finish in end of April. And so I decided to quit my job and have that 4 months where I could actually just enjoy life after this chaos that I had been living for so long. And so a friend of mine, two friends of mine were going to Italy, and they said, would you like to go with us? And so I was like, sure. And I had never been overseas before. And so I was so clueless, Axel. So I got a duffel bag and a suitcase without wheels. Now this was again, like a long time ago. So now every suitcase has wheels, but, and so, step number one would have been, get a backpack maybe. That would have been a good step, but I didn't do that. And step number two is I was so clueless that I didn't have a guidebook. Like I get to the country, I don't have a Lonely Planet. I don't have anything that's going to tell me like, here's what's in the city you're going to. And I, honest to God, have no idea what I was thinking. I don't know if I just thought, well, I'll just get there and it'll all magically appear, but whatever. So it was a very good introduction to being clueless, but at the same time, it was a marvelous experience. And I just couldn't believe that I got to stand where history happened. I remember standing in the Colosseum and even walking to the Colosseum. There's a famous Duomo in Italy that is like one of the oldest domos, and it's like a perfect concentric circle on the roof. And I was walking to there, and they were doing road construction, and I looked down and there were like ancient Roman pipes underneath the road. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is amazing. And everybody else was just like, dude, what is your issue? Like, yeah, we do this every day. But for me, Axel, I was standing where I had only read about history, but now I was there. And that was life-changing, absolutely life-changing. And from there, then I took the next trip, which was to Costa Rica, a totally different type of experience. As you might imagine, it's not about history, it's about nature. And I was a little bit smarter on that trip, and it was just completely life-changing. The scene I talk about in Das Café am Rande der Welt, the cafe on the edge of the world, where Mike talks about his experience in Costa Rica, that was based on my actual experience there. So yeah, life-changing.
Oh, wow. You just said something that I know is a theme or part of your teachings, part of your books, not thinking. Less intellect, more instinct, more intuition.
Yeah.
And we did this interview together. You asked me the same question. So I'm like, you make my life very easy. I wanna know, what was it like for you? Because probably if you would have been in your head during that time, you would have said, well, maybe I should stay here. Maybe I should focus on my career. Maybe I should get a nice car, a nice house, and like really double down on that. I don't know how it was, how was your support system reacting to that? But it sounds like, well, do you want to go to Italy? And you're like, yeah, sure. This doesn't sound to me as a head decision. It sounds like more like,
yeah, it was honestly a burned out decision. It was desperation of, in my heart of hearts, I had always wanted to be an adventurer. And the volleyball was certainly filling that, the athleticism part of that was filling that for me and pushing the envelope. From a travel perspective, I had really not checked that box at all. My parents had been kind enough to introduce me to the concepts of travel, but we weren't wealthy enough. I didn't have the financial means where they could take us overseas to see something like that. And so I knew travel, but I knew it on a much smaller scale. And so this was the first big adventure into what that would look like and feel like. Yeah. And so it was a bit of an act of desperation of, okay, I'm getting older and these are opportunities and I should seize them now. And, I think that's important to listen to. You're right. It was an intuitive thing because I didn't plan it out very well. That's for sure. And, nonetheless, I think sometimes the universe aligns to conspire to assist you. And in this case, these two opportunities came up at exactly during that window when I was going to be off. And so it worked out perfect.
During that backpacking journey, I'm sure you met a lot of interesting people.
Yeah.
And I'm also sure you had a couple of aha moments. If you connect the dots, if you look back at that very special time, what are maybe one or two of the biggest aha moments? One of maybe a couple of people, a couple of conversations that you will remember for the rest of your life?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, and this was a long time ago. So very often it's hard to remember things that happened 15 years ago, 20 years ago, et cetera. But interestingly, when you ask that question, there are certain things that instantly fly back into my memory.
Yeah.
One of the first ones was we flew into Milan, and we were staying just for one night with some friends of one of my friends who I was traveling with. And so, I get off this long flight and I need a shower, and you go into the shower and there's this weird device on the top of the shower head, and you have to turn it on to get hot water. And there's like electrical wiring running from it. And I was like, what in God's name is this thing? Like, where I grew up, there's nothing like that. You want hot water, you just turn it to the left a little bit or to the right a little bit. All the piping is intertwined. But you get into Milan in these old buildings that have been there for 500, 600 years. The only way to get hot water is you do these little electric heaters that sit on top of the shower head. But the idea of having electrical wiring sitting on top of where the water is coming out, I was just like, what? Again, like, what is going on? And so I remember just thinking to myself, wow, that's so cool. Like, this is so different than what I know. And yet for these people, this is their everyday reality. And so it's something stupid like a shower head heater, but extrapolate that concept on a much bigger scale. And that is the realization that, wow, as I travel the world, I'm going to experience realities that are far different from mine. And as a traveler, I can either say, well, that's stupid, that's not the way we do it back home. Or I can be inquisitive and I can say, well, how cool is that? I wonder why they do it that way. And I think this was a great, great life lesson to have learned at that moment, that if we allow ourselves to be inquisitive when we meet people or experience things that are different than what we know, that it opens up the opportunity for us to learn in unbelievable ways. Everything like careers, way in which you go through life, life choices, foods, everything, And so that was very, very powerful for me to have something so small and so simple as a shower head be a transformative moment in the first minutes after arriving in a country.
I love that. And now if we go exactly the opposite direction. If you look back to writing this book, first of all, I'm curious, when you were writing, it was the first book you've ever written, or?
It was, yeah. The Cafe was the first book that I had no plans to be an author, no dreams to be an author.
Okay.
Nothing.
I love that part. I don't think I've heard that in other podcast interviews with you. It's the first book you've ever written. You were not an author before that.
No, it's the first thing I've ever written of any length. Yeah. Probably the longest thing I ever wrote before then was some term paper in college.
I love it. And at the time when you were writing the book, did you know, or like, did you have a feeling like, hey, that stuff is actually really good and millions of people will read this?
No. I had come back from my travels. So we had talked about the early phase of my travels, but I'll just fill in a tiny bit of background here, which is,
yes, please.
So after I came back from that first adventures of going to Italy and then going to Costa Rica for a month, I came back from that, and I remember sitting at the airport and writing in my journal, like, never forget these feelings, because it was this tremendous sense of freedom and curiosity and amazement at the world and calm, because I had been so, like, every minute of my life was scheduled. And then you can't really do Costa Rica back when I did it and not be calm. The country was just so chill back then, and you surfed, you ate pancakes on the beach, like, everything was inexpensive. It's not that way now, sadly, but it was just so chill and a very different reality. So I literally wrote in my notebook, never forget this exists. And then sadly, Axel, I then spent the next 5 years forgetting that it existed and re-immersing myself in the rat race of chaos. And so then when I was in my early 30s, I realized I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. My life is passing me by, and I left it all behind and backpacked around the world for a year. And so that was a far deeper immersion into this amazing experience of the adventurous side of me. And that one stuck. Like, that one I couldn't forget. And when I came back from that experience about 4 months after that is when the cafe story flowed through me. It flowed through me over the course of the 21 days. I always say it was less an act of me writing than it was of me opening up a channel to something that was already there. I simply needed to be the conduit between it and the reality of the human experience. So it flowed through me over the course of 21 days. I never pre-thought what I was going to type. I didn't even read the stuff that I'd typed the previous days. I was aware of what was coming through me. And so I was getting it, not just typing it. I was hearing it. I was understanding it. And so, yeah, I was aware at the time it was flowing through me that there was like really interesting stuff coming through me, but I had no idea what it would become. But I was very tapped into my intuition, because when you travel, as you and I have talked about, a lot of times you're in places where that's all you have to rely on is your intuition. And so when my intuition said sit down and type, I just sat down and typed, even though I didn't know what was going to happen from that. And but you get clues along the way. I've often told this story, so I won't tell the whole story, but the very first person ever to read the completed manuscript, her opening words to me were, "Your book has changed my life." And so that was a massive clue that I was onto something, that there was a reason that this was coming through me. You know, the first time we ever got an order from another country, I was like, what the heck? Like, how in the world did somebody in another country like learn about this book? That was another big clue, you know? And so along the way, there were lots of clues that something good was going to happen. But no, I never could have imagined all the success that has come from it, all the amazing, beautiful stories that I've heard from readers. Never could have imagined it.
You were just listening to your heart.
Yeah. And I think there's another piece of it, which I really want people who are listening to embrace. And that is that I do believe every life has a purpose. I don't think there is just randomness to the human experience.
1,000,000%.
And so part of the opportunity as we're alive on the planet is to open ourselves up to asking that question, what is my purpose? Right? This is the first question in the cafe book. Why am I here? What is my purpose on the planet? And if we allow ourselves to be open to that concept and to embrace the fact that, yes, we're capable of adding value, like we have something to offer, we have genius to share with the world, whether it's as a chef, as a parent to your kid, as an entrepreneur by building a company, as someone who designs an invention that is going to purify water. I don't know. Like, everybody's got something. And don't get caught up in the million numbers either. Like, that's a very dangerous game to get caught up in, because being a parent to your kid is every bit as important as selling 1 million books or designing something that impacts 1 million lives or whatever. Like, in the eyes of the universe, one is the same as 1 million. Like, the goal is simply to be the best version of you that fulfills your purpose. It's not to get caught up in what everybody else is doing.
Yes.
And if we allow ourselves to do that and we open up that channel in much the same way as I said, like, I believe the cafe movie is already out there. I just need to open it up and download it, in much way the cafe book flowed through me. I believe our purpose is the same. Like, you're going to get clues along the way. Some of it is selection. I often warn people against this. I think sometimes because of movies, we have this perception that, oh, there's going to be like that booming voice from the sky moment, right? And it's going to be, Axel, your calling is to do physical fitness work. And then you will open yourself up through your book, right? And we're waiting for this booming voice from the sky to tell us.
Yeah.
But very rarely in life does it actually work out that way. When you're traveling the world as an adventurer, you're having conversations with others. You're noticing something that you didn't see and you get a goosebumps moment. You're just trying something you've never tried before and you're like, whoa, this is cool. And so part of discovering your purpose is putting yourself out there and seeing what feels right.
What feels right. Big thanks to John. Obviously, go check his books out. He writes incredible art, and changed my life. So I hope he changes yours too. Third guest, last but not least, Sahara Rose, and her story of following her intuition, following her gut, led to a very, very beautiful, beautiful place. It's very funny because I met her at the same event, at the same retreat where I met Gabriele, and there was a decision that came from my heart. And one of my ex-partners invited me to a retreat. And I mean, we've been dating, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. Long time ago. But anyways, she invited me to this retreat to check it out. And I was like, actually, my calendar is full, but something inside of me, my intuition was speaking, you should go there. I went there, I met Gabriele, I met Sahara, and other amazing people. So once again, instinct over intellect is sometimes a very wise decision. And so I met Sahara, and from the first moment when I saw it, I was like, she has so much to give. It felt like a sister. I could see so many similarities. best-selling author, has one of the most successful podcasts on planet Earth in the spirituality world, and without further ado, one of the most incredible stories I've ever heard.
So I did that. I wrote the book. All of the information was right. It was about to get published. And now it gets a little weirder. It's 3 days before, it's a Saturday. My book was going to be printed. Once it's printed, it's done. You can't change anything about it on Tuesday. On Instagram, I met this meditation teacher who invited me to a yoga and science conference in the University of Long Island, New York. I happened to be in New York visiting a friend. I go, I'm gonna be real, this was a very boring conference. It was like, the science of breathing, it's good for you. I'm like, I believe you. I trust you, you know? And so I'm in the very back of this 1,000-person auditorium, and I'm thinking in my head, you know what? The only thing that can make right now super lit is if Deepak Chopra walked on stage. Because Axel, Deepak Chopra was like my idol. Like when I would fight with my parents and they're like, you're delusional. I'm like, one day I'm going to be like Deepak Chopra, but for the millennial woman, they're like, he's a charlatan and you're a charlatan too. And I'm like, no, don't put my Deepak down like that. I loved him. He was like, because he was the one who really brought like yoga and Ayurveda to the Western world. Yes. Like he was the one in the 60s who came with Maharishi and came on Oprah and like, is the reason why we're even talking about these things, you know? And so I just had so much deep respect for this person. I was like, if anyone said, what celebrity would you love to meet one day or have dinner with or talk to? That was always my person. Since I was 12 years old, I started reading his books at age 12. So I'm thinking, yeah, the only thing I can make right now super lit is if Deepak Chopra walks on stage.
But you didn't know that?
No, it was a conference I did at school. It wasn't like celebrity speakers or anything.
Okay.
It was just teachers. So they're like, okay, time for our lunch break. Oh, and here's our sponsor, Deepak Chopra. And he walks on stage. He just says, hello, everyone, and like goes off, and now everyone's leaving the auditorium. Something in me told me that said, Sahara, this might be your only chance you're going to see this man in person. You need to go up to him and say something. So the crowd of 1,000 people is going up the stairs to leave. I'm going down the stairs. Something came over me. I have no idea what I'm going to say. I walk up the stairs onto the stage next to him. He's having a conversation with someone. I'm standing next to him. No idea what he's going to say when he turns and looks at me. I don't even know how I got on the stage because now I see his security and stuff. I don't know. Spirit opened up a pathway.
What's the first word you said?
I'm like, hi, Dr. Chopra. I'm like... I'm a huge fan of your work, and it really played such a pivotal role in my life. And I actually wrote this book, Idiot's Guide to Ayurveda, which is with your same publisher, Penguin Random House, and I would love to send you the PDF. And he's like, great, here's my email. And he gives me his email on a piece of paper. And I walk out of there like, this is the pinnacle and highlight of my entire life. I have Deepak Chopra's email. Like, even if I just send him an email, that was enough. That's all I needed. I could die happy. Like, I was just so fulfilled. Like, miracles are possible, and that's it. And so he gave me his email, and I sent him the PDF. I was never expecting to hear from him again. I was just like, like I got to share that with him. The next day, Sunday, I'm meeting my friend. We're going to take these like funny Instagram health conscious videos. I'm running late. I'm crossing the street. I'm eating while walking. I'm halfway across the street. This is in New York. And I hear a man saying, can someone help me cross the street? And that same voice came over me that said, Sahara, if you're a good person, you help that man cross the street. So I put my sushi rolls away in my bag. I turn back. Why am I eating sushi while walking? Not very Ayurvedic of me. And I see this man, homeless man, and I'm like, I'll help you cross the street, sir. He grabs me by the arm, and I can still smell him today, like a putrid smell. His face was very discolored. He was short. He had plastic bags in his hand. Grabs me by the arm, and he says, oh, thank you so much. Can you help me cross the street, go 2 blocks down, find the subway that will take me to Queens and bring me into the subway? I'm like, sure. Why not?
What else?
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? I'm so late for this thing. At this point, I might as well just be a good person right now. So I'm walking with him now, and I'm like, sir, where are you from, by the way? He's like, oh, I'm from Iraq. I fled from the war. The war that my mom fled from was the Iran-Iraq war, where 1 million on both sides were killed. Mm-hmm. And so I'm talking to him about his experience. I'm sharing with him about my family's experience, and he's telling me about his sons. He has a son, and one's a doctor, one's a lawyer. I'm like, wow, I would have never guess that from him. We're having this beautiful conversation. I put him into the subway. The doors are about to close, and I just asked him, I say, sir, by the way, where are you going? He's like, I'm going to go teach. I'm a doctor of physics. I was like, doors closed. Wow. I would have never expected that from him. I thought he was homeless. And I'm like, I was just like skipping on my way back. I'm like, that was such a beautiful Humans of New York experience. It was so amazing. I'm skipping. And I'm like, let me check my phone. Let me check my email. It's Sunday. I check my email. Deepak's email. What's your number? I want to call you. On that same walk. I'm like, is he mad at me? That's my first thought. Why does he want to call me? Is he mad at me? What? Like, is this a mistake? Like, what is going on right now? So
I like how your mindset.
This is such a girl thing.
Yeah. Is he mad at me?
Yeah. So I reply right there with my phone number. He calls me on that same freaking walk. You can't make this shit up.
I'm just picturing the moment when you look at your phone.
I'm like shaking.
Did you pick up immediately, or you waited like 10 seconds to collect your shit?
I think I gave it one ring.
Okay.
I tried to be a little hard to get. I'm busy doing important things, living with my grandma. Yeah.
Can I call you back in like 25 minutes?
Yeah, I'm
in a
giving
meeting.
a huge talk. Deepak who? Oh, Schura, yeah. think I've heard of you, yeah. Let me pencil you in my secretary to get back, yeah. So he calls me, and he's like, did you write that book yourself? I'm like, yes, I did. He's like, it was a really amazing book. I'd like to have a meeting with you. I'm like, sir, I don't live in New York, actually. I was going back the next day back to LA to go live with my grandma and sell pants at music festivals. And he's like, great, because on Tuesday in San Diego, I'm giving a talk for my You Are the Universe lecture.
Yeah.
And I would like for you to come and have a meeting with you after. What are the odds that his talk is going to be in San Diego? I'm going back to LA the next day.
Crazy.
So I'm like, done, sir, I'll be there. I fly back to LA. That morning, I literally slept in my car. I'm so freaking nervous. I have no idea what this meeting is even about.
Yeah.
My book is being printed that day, but I had this thought. I was like, what if he wrote a quote for my book? Like, you know how they have the quotes, highly recommend. So I told my publisher, I'm like, can you pause on the printing? Because like, what if he writes a quote for my book? It's like, no, we can't pause on the printing. Like the book distributes. I was like, please, I'm like fighting now with this publisher. You need to put a pause on this printing. You need to put a pause on this printing. They're like, we will pause till the end of the day on Tuesday. And I'm just like, okay, because I thought maybe he would just do that. Again, I have no idea. I'm, in Vedic culture for luck, you write yantras. It's like these like sacred geometry things. So I'm like doing all these yantras. I'm manifesting. I'm trying to get into the vortex, doing whatever I can to like be high vibe. And I sit in the crowd as he's giving his talk, shaking the whole time of nervousness just to be in such close proximity of him. He walks off stage, points, you, come with me. I follow him. He has this like hotel conference room. There's 4 people of his team, and they're sitting there. They start asking me all these different questions. Why were you at the conference? Where'd you go to school? Where'd you learn Ayurveda? I'm just answering them. And then after, he's like, I really loved the way that you modernized Ayurveda and the way that you made it so accessible, and I would love to have you on faculty of Chopra. And he was making this new app at the time called Jaya, which was bringing it and like modernizing it and bringing it to millennials. And he's like, I would like to have you be like the lead content creator on that.
Shut the front door.
And we made this video, which is still on his Instagram, June 2017, if y'all go back. And it was him. You could see how nervous I was. My Instagram was not even my name yet. I was still going by Eat Feel Fresh, my blog. I'm like, hi, I'm Eat Feel Fresh. And this was 2017, like 8 years ago now. And he introduced me and said, this is Sahara. She's going to be the head content creator. She's now on faculty of Chopra, and I'm so excited to introduce you to her. And he offered to write the foreword of my book. I thought I would get a quote, maybe. Not join faculty and get a forward. I was in shock, but you know what? My nervous system couldn't handle it. I was like, oh, shit's about to go really bad now. Because when things go really good, they always go really bad. So I was like, I couldn't even let myself get excited because I was like, oh, the second shoe's about to drop. So I'm like, holy shit, my life just massively changed, but this can't be real, right? And so he used to go on Facebook Live every single day and talk about different Vedic concepts. And I remember him talking about this concept called Kriya. Kriya means effortless flow when you are living in alignment with your dharma, your soul's purpose. That when you are finally, imagine the way that I see it now is we were all born on this highway. That highway is taking us straight to our highest path, who we're meant to be, how we're meant to show up. So our dharma is not just what we do, but it's how we do it, why we do it. It's our magic sauce. It's our essence. Like we both have podcasts, but they're very different. You know, we could all write a book. They're going to be very different.
Yes.
Your dharma is that frequency that only you can bring. And that is why your soul chose to incarnate on this planet. You know, it's not random that we're here. If you're here for a reason. So when you are living in alignment with your dharma, the universe starts to support you. You start to meet the right people at the right time, that have the right conversation, that takes you from point A to point B to point Z.
1,000,000%.
And you're like, oh shit, I could have never planned this myself. Because source, humanity, we can see it wants to grow. Consciousness wants to increase. It's happening whether we're here or not. Ideas are meant to come through to the collective, and they will choose the vessels that can make it come through. That's why sometimes you watch Shark Tank, you're like, I thought of that 10 years ago. It's like, bitch, you didn't do anything about it, you know? So it's like these ideas are meant to come through the collective, and they choose the vessels that have the capacity, but through our own dharmic way, you know? So I have a couple things I can say now looking back on it, that I was meant to be on this path. I always was spiritual. I had to go through the health challenges. I had to go through my parents disowning me. I had to learn how to believe in myself, even when the people whose love and respect I wanted most didn't believe in me. I had to go through that uncertainty. And I don't believe that homeless man was a human. I believe that he was an angel. And that angels take the shape and form as humans sometimes to test to see if our heart is in the right place. Because what are the odds that another doctor of physics, like Deepak Chopra, but this time he wasn't the shiny professor on stage who's going to bring me up in my career, but rather he was making me late for my meeting. He was holding me back at that moment. He smelled. He was ugly. People didn't want to look at him. Would you pay him the same respect as you would pay this shiny, celebrated person that you think will bring you ahead if they have the exact same knowledge?
Wow.
And the fact that I said yes in that moment was the quantum leap and shift that brought me into Kriya, that brought me into Deepak writing that email, that brought me into having that meeting, that brought me into being on faculty, him writing the foreword of my book. And I realized, oh no, life is always meant to be lived that way. I've been living in karma. Karma is bounded action by the universe. So if we were all born on a highway to our dharma, karma are the barricades on the side of that highway. They're saying, no, don't go here. We're going to make it hard for you. You know, when you're going off path, you're like, oh, I really want to do this thing, but I'm going to make more money doing that. At first, tap, tap, tap. You're feeling anxious. Something's feeling off. You don't feel a good feeling in your body. Most of us drink more coffee, take more Adderall, do more whatever. Keep going. Yeah. And then the universe is like, okay, you're not listening. Punch, punch, punch. Panic attacks, breakdowns, you know, something a little bit louder so maybe you'll listen. Most of us think, life's tough, get a helmet. Everyone I see is suffering every day. Maybe I just need to numb a little bit more. Going off the highway, further, 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 until on your knees moment, accident, health scare, divorce, big challenge, that you have no choice on your knees to really learn to pray.
What I love so much is that you're connecting the dots right now with us, and there's this famous Steve Jobs quote, you can only connect the dots looking backwards. I hope you enjoyed today's masterclass. If you did, please share the episode with a friend in WhatsApp groups. That's really how podcasts grow. Share it on social media, tag me, tag the guest that you enjoyed the most, or tag all of us. It really means the world. We are all artists at heart, so you appreciating our work means the world. And of course, don't forget to pre-order my book. Maybe this is happening for you, not to you. Available for pre-order right now. I've been working on the last couple of years on this book. This is the best piece of content of art I've ever created. If you love the podcast, if you love my content, you will adore this book. I cannot wait for you to hold it in your hand. Grab a copy for yourself, for a friend. It's Christmas time approaching. Maybe multiple copies. Will mean the world to me. And will have a positive, profound positive impact on your life. Thank you so much for listening, for joining, for growing with me. I'm really creating this space for you to grow, to have fun, to be entertained. but to, yeah, most importantly, evolve and become a better person. And I think we do this here almost every week. Much love. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until very soon, thank you for your support. Thank you for growing. Thank you for doing the work. Ciao.